Hi, everybody. This is Saad. I hope that you're doing well. I just returned a couple of days ago from a trip to the University of Chicago where I spoke at let me get the title right of the conference, the Freedom of Intellectual Navigation Conference, which was organized and hosted by Dorian Abbott. Many of you might remember that he was a guest on my show, phenomenal guy. And so this was a conference where many academics who are free thinkers, who've had a price to pay for speaking uh, against the orthodoxy, were present at this conference. It was wonderful to be with clear thinking, reasonable, reasoned academics, true intellectuals who were not stifled by cowardice and by herd like mentality. And I interacted with many of them, uh, at various social settings, at lunch, at dinner. Just lovely folks. Met some new people, some of whom are from the University of Chicago, people that I did not know who were also lovely. And so this may seem, well, what's so surprising about this? Well, it is surprising in that, as you probably might imagine, it hasn't always been easy to be me in academia because I've always spoken my mind. I've always taken positions that are contrary to what is the acceptable, orthodox position to take. And to now find myself amongst, top academics who all with whom, I share this bent to never buck under pressure was just it gave me great solace. So thank you, Dorian. Thank you to the University of Chicago for organizing and hosting this conference. I give a talk on my forthcoming book, Suicidal Empathy. I have posted it. The lecture was recorded on my wife's phone, so the audio is not great, but you could listen to it on my X platform, on my YouTube channel, on my podcast. The University of Chicago campus is absolutely gorgeous. The Hyde Park area is gorgeous. I'd never been to University of Chicago, even though several of my former professors at Cornell ended up at University of Chicago. So my professor in behavioral decision making, Dick Thaler, who was my professor at Cornell, my PhD, he then went on to win the Nobel Prize in 2017. Left Cornell, went to University of Chicago. Another one of my professors at Cornell, Pradeep Shindakunta, who is a mathematical modeler in consumer choice, so like a applied econometrician, also left to the University of Chicago. I know several people at University of Chicago. So just love the place. It almost made me long for a time where I think that I would have had a really nice fit for me to have been at University of Chicago. Of course, I'm perfectly happy where I am currently, but at Old Miss, as some of you may know, I'm currently at Old Miss at the Declaration of Independence Center for the Study of Academic American Freedom. So all that to say, amazing trip to the University of Chicago. But then I wanted to add now a book file angle. I did release a short clip while in Chicago of the books that I bought, but I want to spend a bit more time talking about them. I found this unbelievable bookstore, Powell's bookshop. It's about a 10-15 minute walk from the university. Unbelievable. It's sort of like one of those used bookstores that you dream of, that you hope still exist, but few of them exist. Well, this one existed. Well, before I get to that book, the books that I purchased there, this is the book that I'm currently reading. It's the first biography of Thomas Sowell. And as, of course, you may know, Thomas Sowell obtained his PhD at University of Chicago. And, of course, Milton Friedman is from University of Chicago, a whole bunch of other economists. I mean, that's why you talk about the Chicago School, both of economics and how to do empirical social science. Just really, I mean, just being there, it felt so at home. Now let me share with you the books that I purchased in at that bookstore. And I should have bought some more, but anyways, doesn't matter. I'll go back. We were talking about Milton Friedman. Nobel Prize winner, biography, Milton Friedman. I'm panicking. I don't know how I'm going to find time to read all the books that are in my personal library, I tell you. First book right here, Milton Friedman. You ready? Hayek, the classic, The Road to Serfdom. I would have liked a sort of more austere looking version rather than this kind of, you know, somewhat less than impressive paperback. But of course, it's the content that we're going for. Here is Hayek. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Biography on Ludwig von Mises, right? Who precedes Hayek, as sort of being the architects of the Austrian School of Economics. Well, the author of this biography is still alive. He's 95 years old. I thought of reaching out to him. I'm not sure if he's reachable or if he would actually come on my show, but my God, it would be amazing. I saw a copy of this book signed by the author, I think for $925 or $975 at the antiquarian bookstore in Palm Beach. And at the time, I had thought of purchasing it, but I guess I got for much less money this unsigned version, Ludwig von Mises. So far we've done Hayek, we've done Friedman, we've done Milton von Mises. I'm finishing the biography on Thomas Sowell. Oh, you ready? Oh my goodness. Sir Roger Scruton, Conservatism, An Invitation to the Great Tradition. Wow. Unbelievable. Oh, here we go. Let's go back to the granddaddy of economics. Biography on Adam Smith. Remember Adam Smith, Wealth of Nations, a biography. I mean, I can't wait to devour these books. This is unbelievable. This one, of course, you've heard me speak often about E.O. Wilson. Any of you who've yet to purchase E.O. Wilson's work, especially his late 90s book, Consilience, you must. When you finish this chat, you go out, you press the order button, or you go to a used bookstore, or you go to a new bookstore, and you purchase Consilience. The idea of Consilience has been central in my own academic career. Unbelievable book, but I found this beauty. Oh my goodness. The Origins of Creativity by E.O. Wilson. I recently actually finished his autobiography called Naturalist, and I so regret that I never reached out to him to invite him on the show prior to his passing. I only got to see him once in person. We never met in person. I got to see him once. He was I think giving the plenary address at APA, American Psychological Association. I don't know, maybe 15, 18 years ago. I can't remember exactly when it was. And I was in the audience. Just an unbelievable guy. The consummate gentleman scholar, like a Southern gentleman, just unbelievable. Originally, he's from Alabama, so close to my home in Mississippi. That's the next one. Wait till the last two. Oh my God. Check out this one. Sort of more antique. You ready? This is a book, sort of kind of a. If you see, I don't know if you could see it. F.A. Hayek. It's a book that's kind of a intellectual biography of some of Hayek's key ideas. Hayek, another Hayek book, and then finally, now this one's going to blow your mind. So the gentleman that was helping me at the bookstore, just a great guy, a lover of books. He sees how excited I am. I'm sort of running around like a chicken without a head in the bookstore because I'm just so excited to be in there. And so I tell him, do you have a book on Galen, the ancient physician? And he goes, you mean Galen? And it's because, in French you pronounce it differently. And so I kind of came up with a combination of French English. So Galen, who was after Hippocrates. And he said, we don't have an exact book just on Galen, although there is a book called The Prince of Medicine by a historian of medicine, I think from University of Georgia, a recent book. I reached out to her, very excited to invite her on the show to discuss, the life of Galen. She never responded to me. So anyway, so he says, I don't think we have a book only on Galen. And then I'm, doing my archaeological digs in the bookstore to find, and I come across this beauty. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Galenism, Rise and Decline of a Medical Philosophy. Now, this is a very technical book. And what I was, it's an old book, 1973, Cornell University Press, which is, of course, my alma mater. And it was based on a series of lectures that this historian of medicine, he's actually a physician by training, he gave at Cornell. So I said, I have to have this book. So this is part of my antiquarian collection. I mean, I'd love to think that I'm going to read all of it. Some of it is incredibly, arcane, technical stuff about that you'd really have to be an ancient, medical historian to really be into. But I just had to get it. So there you go. Those are the 8 books that I've added. And as you might imagine, to my wife's dismay, she's like, when is this disease going to stop of my collecting books and desperately trying to read all of them? And I said, never. It shall go on forever. So bottom line, unbelievable trip to University of Chicago. What a magical institution. Thank you for your hospitality. Thank you to Dorian Abbott. People, one important life lesson I give you: read, 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 read. There is nothing more cosmically enriching than to see the content of your mind expand because of all of that beautiful knowledge that is contained in books. And surrounding me right here, there are hundreds of books that I've yet to read. Imagine how much more knowledgeable I will be once I have the opportunity to read all of these. So go out there, read. Don't waste time doing silly things. Life is short. Every moment is precious. Read. Take care, everybody.